start thinking so fast that you pick up your momentum right where you were and start it all over again. But when you slumber, momentum of thought stops. Law of attraction is suspended for you. Your point of attraction is no longer attracting. So when you wake up, you have a really good possibility of getting out of the bed on the right foot. Getting out on the right side of the bed. These are your words. We don't like them very much, but we thought you'd relate. You have a very good possibility of getting the vibration going the way you want it to go. And your best possibility is first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, before there is any other momentum going. So we've been talking about this for a while. And Esther really listened. So she decided that she was going to wake up on that first morning and she was going to sustain her good feeling that she had awakened with. And she didn't make it until breakfast. Quite annoyed with herself, which didn't help. But the next day, she tried it again and didn't make it much past breakfast. Then she discovered that if she just wouldn't read her email, it would help. So her dominant intent became to sustain this feeling of well-being as long as I can. Just sustain it. And what she began noticing about the second week and third week and fourth week of doing that was that not only was it easy to find and maintain that frequency of feeling good, but there were all kinds of other benefits that began coming to her that these words won't give to you. You have to do it and find it yourself because words don't teach. So we're just explaining to you what Esther experienced. She found a new clarity that was not within her before. She found a sort of stable ride. She remembered Jerry's story of shock absorbers. He used to tell a story about he got a new car. He was test driving it. It was a beautiful Cadillac, and it was in San Diego. And the salesperson took him down a road that Jerry thought no nice car should ever be on. And he was amazed at the ride that that car gave him, even on a very bumpy road, because the suspension system, the shock absorbers were such that even though there were bumps in the road, he did not feel them in that car. And he used that analogy always, and it's the same analogy that we're offering to you here. When you find vibrational alignment with who you really are, and you sustain it for a period of time, what happens is you get shock absorbers. So even though the same sort of things may be happening around you, you might even see some of them, although law of attraction makes it less and less likely that you're going to participate on any personal level with anything unwanted once you begin sustaining this vibration of well-being. But the whole point of all of this, we don't want you to become so vibrationally snobbish. Esther says, I'm a vibrational snob. I like clarity and I will not accept confusion. But when you care about how you feel and you practice it until you're in this place where you are sustaining it more consistently, then you don't feel like you felt before. You know how when you first start knowing that you are the creator of your own reality, and you get feeling pretty good, and then someone says something that takes you away from your good feeling. And you think to yourself, I'm never talking to you again. I'm going to avoid you. You are a downer. But then you find yourself in a sort of state of avoidance everywhere. You can't watch television. You can't really go out in the world. You have to give your children away. You just can't barricade yourself into enough solitude to really maintain the vibration, and you give up so much by trying to do that. The benefit of alignment shouldn't have to pay the price of being a hermit. You should be able to practice your alignment until you're so good at it that you can go anywhere, be anywhere, with anyone, and maintain your vibration. And let's call that step 4. Because Esther wants to. So what it requires really is enough determination to focus first thing in the morning and until you know that you've got it and you're able to maintain it. And then to simply watch what happens in your experience as a result of that newfound alignment and that newfound clarity. Now here's the piece that we really want you to understand that makes Esther's desire to make it an emphatic new step, appropriate from our point of view. Step 1 is ask. And usually when you're asking, you're not anywhere near the vibrational frequency of what you want. That's why you're pleading for it. That's why you pray for it pleadingly. It's why you try so hard. It's why you offer so much effort sometimes. There's a big gap between what you want and your realization of it. But once you have awakened in the morning, without an active question, instead, you've just awakened and you've practiced step 3. You've practiced alignment. You've practiced resonance with your source. You've practiced the feeling of well-being. You've practiced feeling good. You've practiced the absence of resistance so that you know what it feels like. After a while, usually about 30 days, some cases more, some cases less, but about 30 days of doing that. In the first 10, 20 days, you probably won't achieve it, not steadily. But once you get into the 30 and 40 and 50 days of applying this, you'll be solidly there. And then what you'll begin to notice is you can be in this place of alignment with life presenting to you options as it always does, variety as it always does, causing a question, maybe even a problem, to occur to you in the middle of this ease that you are feeling. And what you're going to begin to notice is that the vibration of allowing, the vibration of alignment, the resonance with source is so dominant within you that this problem doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like an opportunity. This problem doesn't feel like something that challenges you. It doesn't take you to your knees. It's just something that's interesting for you to contemplate. And in the absence of any vibrational resistance, as quickly as the question occurs, the answer is there too. When you reach that place that Esther wants to call step 4, step 1 and 3 are blended. She said, see, it even adds up. 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1. So that's what we've been wanting to talk to you about in all of the days that we've been interacting with you. We want you to know that you are the creator of your own reality, but even more than that, we want you to know that you're blessed beings and that life is supposed to be working out well for you. And while it is, you don't always know it. And so we want you to stop torturing yourself with the introduction of chronic resistance and start practicing yourself into alignment that then gives you the resources, the energy that creates worlds is flowing to you and through you. And when you get hold of that notion, when you get hold of that knowing, when you know for sure that all you have to do is define what you want and then stand in a place where you don't contradict it with your own doubt, with your own memory, with your own statistics, with your own beating the drum, with your own defensiveness, with your own justification, when you've left your justification behind morning after morning after morning after morning after morning after morning after morning, and you are awakening in that wholeness that is you, and then you begin approaching life from that whole point of view, you've pushed the reset button. You've pushed the reset button, and everything in your world is going to respond differently to you now than it ever did before. We were talking with a pilot the other day on the Mediterranean cruise, and we submitted to him the logic that when his big aircraft is at 20,000 feet, it's still the same airplane. When it's at 30,000 or 40,000, in other words, it doesn't matter what altitude his plane is flying, it's the same airplane, and it's essentially doing the same thing. So we'd like to say to you, you are the same being, thinking thoughts, observing some world in some way around you. But when you choose those higher frequencies, your experience is a very different experience. So you could be as you were 10 years ago, today, saying the same things, feeling the same way, and your life would be very much today like it was 10 years ago. Different places, different faces, but essentially feeling pretty much the same way. Or you could be, today, deliberately focusing in a new vibrational frequency, determined to align with the source within you, looking at this world through the eyes of Source, appreciating chronically, rarely criticizing, feeling blessed, never victim, feeling confident and sure-footed rather than vulnerable and victim. When you change your vibrational frequency, you find an atmosphere where those like you are roaming around. And when you rendezvous with those like you have a different experience. Let's say that in a better way. You're always rendezvousing with those like you because the law of attraction doesn't allow it to be otherwise. But when the you that you are rendezvousing with is a high-flying, good-feeling being, then what rendezvous with you feels good too. Now you know everything we know. We've brought you completely up to speed with the evolution of this message. We know that it will expand still further today as a result of that which you are. We'll leave you with these few thoughts before we open it for discussion. You are the creator of your own reality, and you get to choose what you create. And now you know, you haven't practiced it, so you don't really know it. You're speculating, you're wanting it, you're hoping, and in some cases knowing it. You are the creator of your point of attraction. You are the emitter of your signal. And law of attraction is bringing back to you what signal you're emitting. And isn't that a wonderful thing? Don't you want to know? Don't you really want to know? Esther just loves those bumps on the side of the road that let her know that she's driving off the road. She doesn't think they should be so close to the edge. Could move them in just a little.